one of the most stressful times of life, particularly of early adulthood, is those post-grad years, right out of college, you've just graduated. That period of life is one of the most stressful, can be one of the most overwhelming times for a young adult. You've got so many different things thrown at you. You have, career goals, career aspirations, or pressures. You've got the reality of needing to make money and pay bills that maybe you haven't really had to worry about before. Changing friendships, saying goodbye to people as they are moving off. Looking for an apartment, romantic relationships maybe are getting a little more serious. A lot of times even relationships with family are changing as you're shifting into a new phase of life. These post-grad years can be full of anxiety. Hi, I'm Landry Ethredge with Ethredge Counseling Group here in Charleston, South Carolina, and working with college students is a really big part of the work that we do here in Charleston. We love working with young adults, new college grads who are navigating the first year or few years of your early 20s, your 20 something, really 20 to 30. There's this huge transition period. There's a few tips that I often give to people who are navigating this stage of life. One of them is to find a support system, but not just a support system, find a mentor. Finding mentors is so important as you're figuring out what you want to do with your life. Making the right kind of connection, having someone who can kind of guide you and support you through that is really important. Of course, along with the support system is, keeping in touch with your close friends, your inner circle, so that you have that encouragement and support as you're navigating things, maybe even together through these similar stages. Another piece of advice that I give to people through in this stage is biting off small, doable goals, accomplishing one small baby step at a time. I use the phrase baby step so often because there is a lot to figure out. There is a lot about life to figure out, but it doesn't need to be all figured out at once. It doesn't even need to be all figured out in the first year. There really is time to figure out what you want out of life, how to navigate so that you can begin getting those types of things. And also, things change throughout your life. You may really want to head down a particular career route, but in 10 years, you may decide to go somewhere else. There really is time to figure these things out. And so starting really small with something that you can do, thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to figure out my career. That's exhausting. That feels overwhelming. But saying, I'm going to apply to 3 jobs every week, that's doable, and that's going to get you way further. And so I'm a huge advocate for taking baby steps. And even if you think you've made your goal pretty small and attainable, I want you to make it even smaller. I'm going to look at options, jobs to possibly apply for today. Right? Well, maybe even that's too big. Maybe I'm just going to open my laptop and that's all I can do. That's as far as I'm going to get with that today. And if more comes from it, great. But really making those steps tiny, tiny, tiny so that you can actually begin to create some momentum over time. Another big thing that I encourage people to do as you're figuring out these big life things, these big adulting, topics and areas, is to not forget the basics. It's really easy to be so focused on the end goal that we forget about the daily things that are going to help us get there, like consistent sleep, nutritious food, enough protein to fuel your brain, staying hydrated, moving your body every single day in a significant way. These things are crucial to not only our physical well-being, but for our mental well-being. We really can't be healthy if we're not doing those things. So I recently wrote a blog post. It's up on the blog on our website, LandryEthredge.com. I'd really recommend looking at that. And there's a whole bunch more really practical steps and pieces of advice for anyone who's going through these big like life transitions and kind of just needs a place to start. And of course, if you need to, or if you're interested in building your support system to include career counseling, or counseling in general, mental health therapy, please reach out if you're living in South Carolina to schedule a free consultation to learn more about getting started in counseling.